Chelsea versus PSG Club World Cup Final full-time chaos as Luis Enrique and Joao Pedro clash. Chelsea beat Paris Saint-Germain to win the Club World Cup, but ugly scenes after the full-time whistle marred their triumph. Luis Enrique and Joao Pedro clashed after Chelsea won the Club World Cup. Paris Saint-Germain. Head coach Luis Enrique appeared to strike Chelsea forward Joao Pedro in the aftermath of the Blues being crowned Club World Cup champions. The fierce clash was tipping towards boiling point in New York before tempers boiled over after the full-time whistle. There was a mass confrontation in the center circle as Chelsea players and staff flooded the pitch to celebrate the achievement. However, television cameras appeared to pick up the Champions League winning tactician lash out at the new Stamford Bridge hero, leaving Pedro in a heap. The tensions spilt over with PSG heading towards a rare defeat after Chelsea denied them an unprecedented trophy haul after winning League One, both domestic cups, and the elite European competition. Both Enrique and Enzo Maresca were seen in the midst of the melee as representatives of both clubs tangled trying to separate after the incident. The Italian was seen in an intense conversation with fellow countryman Gianluigi Donnarumma after the commotion which was sparked shortly after the full-time whistle. Joao Neves was shown a straight red card during normal time after referee Larissa Fagani brandished a straight red card for the Portuguese starlet after the 20-year-old appeared to pull Marc Cucurella's hair, with the official sending him off after a VAR review. There were chaotic scenes following the full-time whistle in the Club World Cup final between Chelsea and PSG. Chelsea stunned the French giants with a relentless attacking display, stifling the Parisians who had previously torn apart Real Madrid on their way to the final at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Cole Palmer continued his rich vein of form with 2 goals in 8 minutes to complete a first-half double. Pedro added his 3rd goal in 2 matches in the competition after a deft chip over Donnarumma, handing Chelsea a surprise 3-goal lead in the opening 45. PSG, who had impervious throughout their historic season, were left shell-shocked, and it quickly turned sour with a number of high-profile incidents. Neves had to be pulled away from Cucurella in the moments leading up to his dismissal as PSG grew frustrated, and Nuno Mendes was lucky to survive further action after a robust challenge on Christopher Nkunku. Though the ugly scenes in the United States didn't take the shine off the victory or the achievement from Chelsea, which sees them become the first team to win the new-look Club World Cup. In doing so, the club name and crest were etched on the trophy with their Premier League campaign due to begin in just over 4 weeks. The Blues are due to play Bayer Leverkusen and AC Milan before the curtain raises on the top-flight season at home to Crystal Palace on August 17th. Manchester United step up Mbeumo pursuit, aiming to finalize deal next week. Romano. Soft Football has reliably learned that Manchester United are pressing ahead with their pursuit of Brentford winger Bryan Mbeumo, with negotiations ongoing throughout the weekend as the Premier League giants push to wrap up a deal by next week. According to transfer news expert Fabrizio Romano, the talks are progressing smoothly, with Man United increasingly confident of securing the green light in the coming days over what could become their 3rd signing of the summer, following the arrivals of Matheus Cunha and Diego Leon. The Red Devils' interest in Bryan Mbeumo intensified following his standout displays in the Premier League, where he emerged as one of Brentford's most influential players. Mbeumo, who has pledged his commitment to joining United, is refusing discussions with other suitors. Valued at €50 million with a contract until June 2027, Mbeumo recorded 20 goals and 7 assists in 38 Premier League matches in 2024-25. Man United are prepared to offer €40 million plus add-ons to land Ruben Amorim's key target for their attacking overhaul. Mbeumo is set to arrive at United in the coming week before the Reds depart for their tour. United face Leeds in Sweden next Saturday and will then travel to the United States for the Premier League Summer Series shortly afterwards. The aforementioned report added that there is an expectation that United will have a breakthrough in negotiations with Brentford in the coming days. The Bees have been looking for £65 million in total, with more of the fee being paid up front, rather in installments. Mbeumo has been frustrated with the length of time this move is taking, and it is clear that he would not be best pleased if he was to return to Brentford training next week. The Bees probably do not want that to happen either. They are a smart club and know that an unhappy player in training is not what you want, especially under a new manager. In an earlier update, Soft Football reported a huge blow for Manchester United as star player is ruled out for 6 weeks. Barely 6 days into preseason, Ruben Amorim has received the sad news of an injury to a key member of his squad. Andre Onana picked up a hamstring injury and will be out for about 6 weeks. According to The Telegraph's Mike McGrath, Onana picked up the injury in training after he and other teammates returned for preseason, which began on July 7th. Manchester United value Onana at £30 million and are open to a sale this summer, but until now they've not prioritized his position as they have other areas of concern they need to fix and with limited resources. Alexander Isak to Liverpool transfer latest as bold Newcastle United intention made clear. Latest Liverpool transfer news amid the possibility Newcastle United open the door to Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak has been linked with a move to Liverpool. Liverpool looks set to face difficulties if trying to sign Alexander Isak this summer, even if Newcastle United were to take another Anfield-linked striker off the market. The destinies of both clubs are intertwined in the time that remains during the summer window. Isak, the scorer of 62 goals across his 3 seasons at St. James's Park, has previously been dubbed Liverpool's dream signing following the captures of Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, and Milos Kerkez. He is one of numerous strikers to have been linked with the Reds in rumors over recent months. Another is Hugo Ekitike, whose 22 strikes for Eintracht Frankfurt last season have supposedly attracted the attention of some of Europe's elite. However, it is implied Newcastle could strike to deny Liverpool from signing either in the month and a half that remains of summer. According to The Telegraph, the Magpies have rekindled their former interest in Ekitike as they look to bolster their attacking ranks. They made attempts in both 2022 windows, coming close to a deal with French side SC Reims at the time, only for the 22-year-old to opt to join Paris Saint-Germain instead. They are aware they would most likely have to pay the France under-21 international's entire €100 million, £86 million release clause to be successful this time around, fending off rival interest from the Reds and Manchester United. From a Liverpool perspective, a question to ponder is would Newcastle's signing of a new striker would push Isak closer to an exit? The answer is apparently not. If Ekitike moves to St. James's Park, it would be to join the Sweden international, not replace him, the report claims. Isak is placed in high regard on Tyneside, and with 3 years remaining of his contract, there is no intention to allow his sale in the summer of 2025. Eddie Howe has already missed out Joao Pedro when the forward recently moved to Chelsea, and with Callum Wilson leaving at the end of his contract, Newcastle have been left without a number 9 looking towards the 2025-26 campaign. Following their spending spree in excess of £200 million, the Echo understands Liverpool are assessing their options of players to move on in order to work out if they need to dip into the market again. Darwin Núñez remains linked with a switch to another club, though the latest rumors would suggest Napoli's interest is cooling as the financial demands are too great for them to match. The Uruguayan, who has experienced a mixed time on Merseyside, signed for the Reds at the same time as Isak's move to Newcastle. Former Director of Research at Anfield, Dr. Ian Graham, has claimed former manager Jurgen Klopp chose to sign Núñez out of the two. Jurgen created a lot of success for the club, so it's understandable why it moved in that direction, he said. I'm happy to talk about my colleagues persuading Jurgen in 2017 that Mo Salah was the player to buy instead of Julian Brandt. In 2022, he signed Darwin Núñez instead of Alexander Isak. Both players, if you look at top young center forwards in Europe, they would be number 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, but Erling Haaland was going to Manchester City and out of our price range. Jurgen preferred Núñez. It would be very churlish of me to say it's terrible that Jurgen had his choice, when in the past, Jurgen had been persuaded by me and my colleagues of a different choice. And it was still the case that we signed good players in Núñez's case, one of the best young strikers in Europe. Cole Palmer insists Chelsea are confident ahead of PSG showdown in Club World Cup final, despite coming up against probably the best team in the world. Cole Palmer has said Chelsea are confident in their chances of beating PSG in the final of the Club World Cup on Sunday. Chelsea star attended Les Parisiens' semi-final victory. Palmer, PSG probably best team in the world. Final kicks off on Sunday night. What happened? Palmer was speaking with DAZN ahead of Sunday's final. The Chelsea star shared that he attended PSG's 4-0 semi-final win against Real Madrid, and that the Champions League winners are probably the best team in the world. However, he also said he and his teammates are confident and that they have a plan. The bigger picture: Les Parisiens have looked every bit the favorites through the revamped tournament, beating Inter Miami, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid en route to the final with an aggregate score of 10-0 over those three ties. Chelsea have had a slightly easier path to the showpiece event, beating Benfica, Palmeiras, and Fluminense. What? Palmer said, obviously we're confident. We know it's going to be a tough game, but it's a final. We're excited. Everyone's ready. You know, you want to play against the best team, and they probably are the best team in the world. But we're excited and we're ready. They do everything well. We've watched the games, but we've got a plan and we're going to try and do it. What next for Palmer? As Chelsea's most dependable goal scorer, playmaker, and all-round talisman, Palmer will need to be at his very best if the Blues are to cause an upset in New Jersey. It's over. Romano gives Gyökeres to Arsenal update as free transfer possibility is discussed. Victor Gyökeres has been linked with a move to Arsenal. Fabrizio Romano has revealed that Arsenal target Victor Gyökeres will not show up to Sporting CP training as a free transfer is discussed. The Gunners have already tied up deals for Kepa Arrizabalaga, Martin Zubimendi, and Christian Norgard this summer, while Noni Madueke is set to officially join from Chelsea in the coming days. Arsenal are also looking to bring in a center-back, another winger, and a center-forward with deals for Valencia center-back Christian Mosquera and Sporting CP striker Gyökeres stalling. The Gunners and Sporting are yet to agree a fee for Gyökeres, with the Sweden international frustrated that they have increased their demands for him this summer. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano brought a promising update on the situation surrounding Gyökeres earlier in the week, with a transfer to Arsenal absolutely on. Romano explained, Arsenal remain in conversations with Sporting for the striker, and the deal is absolutely on. There is still a small gap in valuation, still a gap between the two clubs. So it's a work in progress between Arsenal and Sporting to reach an agreement. What's important to say is that Victor Gyökeres will not show up in training anymore for Sporting. The player's intention is very clear. It's valid for today, tomorrow, and any other day at this stage of the summer transfer window. Gyökeres only wants to go to Arsenal. He believes his story with Sporting is over. He wants to leave the club to try something different. So the agreement between Gyökeres and Arsenal remains valid, a 5-year contract until 2030. It's also important to be clear that he's more than given his priority to the Gunners. He only wants to play for Mikel Arteta. Before his latest update on Friday claiming Gyökeres will skip training until he gets his transfer to Arsenal, Romano wrote on X, Victor Gyökeres will not show up in training at Sporting today, tomorrow, or at any moment this summer. His decision is clear as reported during the week. He only wants Arsenal. It's over with Sporting. Gyökeres also informed Sporting president about that 5 days ago. Lawyer and Ebola columnist Joao Guerrero has revealed that there could be a scenario, although very unlikely, that Sporting could pursue dismissal without compensation if Gyökeres refuses to turn up for training. Guerrero said, missing training without justification is an infraction, and 5 consecutive unjustified absences or 10 interpolated absences are sufficient grounds for dismissal with cause. However, the law allows for various justifications. Gyökeres can always provide some justification. A family problem, the need to accompany a relative to the doctor, etc. The list of justifications is long, he added. But the player announced the absence early, and the reason is that he wants to go to Arsenal. This limits his justifications. If he misses, Sporting could even fine him, or if the absences continue, apply more severe sanctions, including dismissal without compensation. But that's what Gyökeres wants, and dismissal would be terrible for Sporting, a financial asset, because the player as a club asset would go from being worth 65 million euros, the value of Arsenal's offer, to being worth 0. Leandro Trossard agrees shock Arsenal exit. Arsenal winger Leandro Trossard has reportedly agreed to join Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce as the North London club reshape their attack. According to a report from The Sun, Trossard, 30, will leave Arsenal and join Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce as part of the club's attacking overhaul. Mikel Arteta is understood to be pushing Arsenal to sign more forwards after once again coming second in the race for the Premier League title last season. The report adds that Trossard was convinced to make the move to Turkey after a conversation with Mourinho in which he explained his vision and ambition. Arsenal are set to sign Noni Madueke from Chelsea after the two clubs agreed to a £52 million deal and are also interested in Eberechi Eze.